But first of all, folks, before we get into the information, I just want to say thank you for watching my channel. And as a result, and as a way for me to show my appreciation, I just want to say, here's a free $60 Amazon gift card. Use the code right here on your screen and enter it on the checkout aisle on Amazon.com. The United States and the central bankers have signaled that they see interest rates staying high, and if anything increasing even higher, given inflation that might be slow to improve the economy. But in interviews, 4 central banks and the president have begun distangling the idea that risk will fall into another recession. Folks, just know that improvement has been slow on this. Improvement has been slow on inflation, which causes many difficulties for the American people. But Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy are holding their important meetings right now. The top Republicans say that it is possible for a debt ceiling deal to be signed this week, and the leaders from both parties emerged from their meeting today, with Joe Biden at the White House and some optimism around this. Officials say that Biden will have to be hands-on as debt ceiling talks continue. The White House has scraped part of its upcoming trip abroad just to talk about this problem and issue right now. So while a deal hasn't been reached yet, Kevin McCarthy is still going on about this. Biden called the meeting with the lawmakers productive, and he's confident he can get a deal done. And with this new deal in town, it's a chance for Joe Biden to send out the 4 stimulus checks within this deal. The president took a swipe at Republicans, saying it's disappointing. The Republicans are unwilling to discuss raising revenues, but he added that policy differences between the parties should not stop them from helping out the American people. McCarthy also told reporters it is possible to get a deal by the end of the week, but said that he and the White House are still very far apart in negotiations. Tuesday's meeting was originally scheduled last week, but both sides decided to postpone it to give the staff-level talks and some space to proceed. But with this all of happening, it's still a chance for Joe Biden to give the stimulus payments out to the American people. One example is from House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. He told his colleagues that he won't accept any New York work requirements for social safety net programs. And Majority Whip Dick Durbin said it's ridiculous that work requirements are at the center of debt ceiling negotiations. Senators like Elizabeth Warren and Jack Reed have also warned that they should not back a bill imposing New York work requirements. Jeffries had indicated that he believes a deal could include a debt ceiling increase and changes to permitting laws to ease the approval of energy projects. He also thinks there could be some caps on discretionary spending and some crisis reliefs could be funded. But perhaps the greatest challenge to negotiators here is a timeline. Biden has been scheduled to depart Wednesday for a trip around the world, but shortly after that, it looks like he's going to run out of time before the 4th stimulus check can be approved. Joe Biden must work quick on this, everybody. Do you agree?
Ever seen. This works hand in hand with the Inflation Reduction Act to really boost American innovation, competitiveness, and security. So we've clearly given the Department of Energy a lot of work to do. Congress has spoken clearly over the last 2 years. Between the Energy Act, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, and the Inflation Reduction Act,
it looks like economists have released a big warning to Americans. The recession is pushing more people, including families and retirees, into poverty. And now Kevin McCarthy has announced that he doesn't even support the new bill that Democrats have proposed because President Biden may take executive action this time. A group of conservatives in the House are pushing for a vote on a bill that would eliminate the Fed, income taxes, and the IRS. But some influential Republicans are pushing back against what appears to be a failure for the GOP. The bill known as the Fair Tax Act would actually scrap all individual and corporate income taxes while imposing a 30% national sales tax on goods and services to be collected at the state level. And it would eliminate the need for the IRS, everybody. So this could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you see it. But I personally believe it would be a good thing because in the deal with Kevin McCarthy for his House leadership, the conservatives reportedly want a commitment to bring the tax bill to the floor for a vote. However, the bill has virtually no chance of becoming law, and meanwhile provided Joe Biden and Democrats with new ammunition in their effort to paint Republicans as extremists. Chuck Schumer said that the Republican tax plan will raise the cost of buying a house to $125,000. Also, it would raise the cost of buying a car by $10,000. It would raise the average grocery bill by $3,500. And at a time when people are already worried about the high price of groceries, it looks like things are going bad. Schumer failed to note that the bill would also eliminate income and other taxes, but his remarks highlight the difficulty Republicans face if they push ahead with the bill. Analysis of similar tax plans showed that a national sales tax would be aggressive, raising taxes on the poor, reducing taxes on the rich, and other things like that. But several Republican leaders have already come out against the bill, Even McCarthy said that he earlier doesn't even oppose it. It would allow that it will come up for consideration. It makes the committee process more difficult. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise has also said he doesn't support the bill, preferring instead to make the tax cuts included in the tax law of 2017 permanent. And one representative, a relatively moderate Republican from Nebraska, told reporters that he is also opposed to the bill. More than a dozen states are continuing to send out checks to millions of people, hoping to provide some extra relief in cash to consumers, as inflation drives up prices on everyday items. Many states are able to send these checks because of excess revenue. Many of the payments are officially called tax rebate checks. Last fall, California began issuing the middle-class tax refund, one-time payments designed to ease the bite of inflation. And as of January, more than 16 million direct deposits and debit cards were issued, but as many as 1 million people, eligible residents, have yet to receive the check, which can be as much as $1,000. And now California taxpayers filed individually and make less than $250,000 are eligible. As were the couples who filed jointly and make $500,000 or less, because according to the Franchise Tax Board, that works out to be about 25 million people. The IRA is also ushering a pair of tax benefits for Americans, also new filing this season. The expiration of a homeowner deduction, potential double taxation for some remote workers, and the deadline for federal returns is here. One intended change that would have likely led to confusion was dumped late last year before it took effect. Taxpayers should avoid feeling overwhelmed by the changes by focusing on only those that affect their returns and have the rest of the tax pros. The last 2 years included temporary changes to the tax code as a response to the crisis and economic havoc in 2022 tax year. So, looks like we can see some things happening this year. Some progress can be made, folks.
200 votes, only because my sister managed my campaign and the reason I won. But all kidding aside, I was down here in Washington in Teddy Kennedy's office. He was the whip at the time, on December 18th, hiring folks, and I got a phone call saying my wife and daughter had just been killed, and my 2 boys were very badly injured. They were in the car, a tractor trailer, hit broadside them. And I didn't want to come to the United States Senate. I really didn't. I had my brother and my sister, and Chris knows them both well. I asked them to talk to the incoming governor. We elected a Democratic governor as well. But we hadn't had what was referred to as a progressive senator in Delaware for a while because it was a very conservative. It used to be a red state. We didn't call it that then. But a group of senators who were really so good to me, it saved my sanity, starting with Mike Mansfield and Tom Eagleton and the distinguished senator from South Carolina, Fritz Hollings, and Tom Eagleton, and they all